So we use data here at IPG to really understand both brand and I'll call it conversion media. And so it's based on how we're targeting the audience. And so the data tells us who the audience is, how they're engaging with specific tactics, how they're actually purchasing. So it's not necessarily looking at brand versus the conversion. It's looking at one single path to purchase for that given audience. And so the data is real time, and it allows us to understand how that person is going to intercept whatever we're trying to do, whether it be a message or a conversion message. So I would say that's kind of like the underbelly of how IPG Mediabrands functions, is sitting on top of our Acxiom spine.
So wanted to get a sense of what are the biggest misconceptions or misconception that marketers still have about using retail data for brand building in particular.
Yeah, so using retail data, what people look at retail media, they associate it with conversion, and they associate it with that you're in the shopping mindset, and so therefore it's a moment of time. It's not a stream of moment of time. So there's a lot of brands out there that also don't want to honestly pay because it's a premium, and then you're relying on the data itself to actually give you what you're looking for. It also depends on the category as well. So if it's a category that doesn't necessarily sell on a website, it is hard or a little bit more tricky to sell it into clients. It is another place where you could reach them, like within the retail landscape, it doesn't matter. But I would say those are kind of like the two hurdles right now that we're seeing when it comes to utilizing retail data from a brand perspective.
So another large question for you, looking at the consumer landscape. What are the biggest shifts that you're seeing that make data so critical?
Oh gosh, there are a ton of shifts, but I would say the marriage of data and technology is a huge one. I would say that if you asked me 5 years ago if my boomer of a father would be using AI to go shopping, I would not bet on that at all. I would also, in the same vein, not bet that my 7-year-old son, who is a beta, would be shopping on Amazon with his voice. So there are so many different instances that technology is really driving forth, like how we are actually behaving. It also changes how we're purchasing. And so I know there's like, they call it the doom scroll on social, but it's literally 7 seconds that you actually think about buying something to actually buying something on social, like and actually making that physical conversion. And so we actually see everything changing in real time from an interaction standpoint, and then also from how do we reach our given consumer. So yeah, it's definitely changed, and it will change again, and it will keep on changing.
So retail data doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Yes.
Also doing a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to powering faster insights, greater audience targeting and measurement. Which of these do you see as the biggest unlock for brand growth?
I think from our standpoint, what we're seeing is the audience building. And again, like I had mentioned it a little bit earlier, but we sit on top of Acxiom, and Acxiom is all about understanding who the shopper is, where they're actually shopping, and what their media behaviors are. I think paired with our new acquisition, probably, well, not really new anymore, it's from last December, with Intelligence Node, it's actually how products are showing up in the actual landscape. We look at the two together, and it's actually driving a super powerful story of how is this person shopping, what do they look like, but then how is the product being sold, and what is actually working, and how do you actually adapt to that, and marrying the two together really has been a great story to tell when we're either pitching or talking to clients about how we could actually reach the audience. And they're always looking for efficiency, right? So that's kind of where we start with from a data perspective.
Always looking for efficiency. So with that in mind and other demands from clients, how is the role of retail data evolving in advertising? Do you have a kind of wish list maybe around that?
It's not that the data is changing, it's how we use the data that's changing. So in the beginning, we used to build custom audiences. So I'm talking like maybe 10 years ago with the really old retail media networks when there was 4. And so that was where it started. I think now it's about how do you actually integrate your data in a clean room, or how do you actually use the data to actually drive a change in the marketplace. So that's different. And I would also say that we're trying to figure out how the data actually up levels data that you might own. So again, like, and I feel like I'm talking about Acxiom a lot, but like from an Acxiom perspective, when you're looking at Acxiom data plus retail data, it just makes a more three-dimensional picture, more so than if it was just one data set. And so I think that's come a long way. I also feel like on the flip side, from a retailer perspective, they're opening up their arms a little bit, saying, use my data. It's actually more efficient. It will target the right person. We're targeting real bodies. And so that actually is allowing the marketplace to react differently to the data, when in the past that wasn't really a thing, that they kind of just like held it very close to their chest.